Microphone check. Hello, Mr. Roy. Something indeed. Cool. Yeah, I hope you had a great evening so far, given that it was your parents' wedding anniversary, seemingly. I hope there was some good food for you and stuff. Was it a big celebrative party, or was it more laid-back family time for you? Well, anyway, while you type the answer for that, yeah, I don't want to make a big fuss around the game because it's really obscure and it feels like whenever I take a lengthy break from streaming, you always can come back to even more obscure games, and it just gets worse and worse. So, while we did look at some train games in the past, I think, we probably didn't look at Japanese train games. And this is Densha de Go Final. Yeah. Where essentially it's not a train simulator, it's a train game. Right? It has its origins in the Japanese arcade halls, and it was also only ever sold in Japan. The English translation is a fan-made mod. But yeah, essentially you drive a train and you have to be on time and you have to stop up to like 0 centimeters in perfection, and then you get points for that, and that's kind of the gist of it. And this was the supposedly final version in 2004 that was released. Didn't quite work out that way. I think there was a Switch release in 2017 or something. But yeah, usually the Densha releases predate that. And I found it on accident because in the living room I have a very old laptop that is not capable of running anything useful, but I wanted to play a train game when Mika was around. And nothing of the usual train sims I play runs on that. So that is how I found it somehow a few months back. And yeah, as per usual, I fell into a bit of a rabbit hole, you could say. Literally researching a lot about how Japanese trains work, trying various games, not just this Densha de Go, but also the older ones. Even the current arcade game, because there's also a current arcade game that kind of fell out of support like a few months back, actually. But yeah, so we'll just do some tutorial stuff and then I will just drive and then you can fuck off and do whatever you want. You don't have to follow this closely, but it's just nice to have some streaming going on. Let me also turn on the surprise camera here. So ahead of me is a Densha de Go plug and play, which is actually a standalone console with this game, not on the PC. But the community made a mod for it, where you can use this as a controller for the PC as well. For this game, but also for others. And seemingly, so from what I've discovered, the Japanese Rare community likes the immersion as well. So what do? They do the sim racer thing and wear these while driving. Yeah. So you will be seeing me in gloves today again, but not in the usual sparkle stuff, but actually in some nice nylon driving gloves, I guess. So yeah, we'll run through the tutorial, like I said. That shouldn't take us any longer than 5 minutes or something. And then we'll just do some timetable work, I guess. So, in this game there's 4 train lines available, and will mostly be on the Yamanote line, which is seemingly the most popular train line around Tokyo. It's a loop line, so it goes in a circle. You'll probably see this, yeah, on the graph here. The tutorial is just one stop as well and just goes literally through the basics of the how to drive a train thing. So yeah, I'm all buttoned up. I am wearing some fancy white gloves now. Here, where's my thumb? There. Oh. How do you control a Japanese train, you might ask? Good thing you ask. You've got a brake, and this has notches to it, so you can see it clicks into place. And then there's a power lever, which also has 5 notches in total. And snaps it back up. We also got a pocket watch here for timekeeping, which is not running because the battery is flat. But luckily the game does it as well for us. Yeah. I hope the microphone is not too loud, because OBS is masking me as clipping in the audio. But tough luck with their OBS, maybe I'll just make it a tiny bit more quiet. And hopefully that fixes that. And then we'll do the tutorial, I guess. And I will be reading out what it says on screen. Just so you don't have to read yourself. You can just follow the sweet voice of the train driver. So, welcome to the introductory diagram. I'll be teaching you how to drive the train. Well, that's kind of useful if we want to drive a train. So seemingly we get introduced to the HUD. And we'll have the speedometer on the left. Then you will see that there's a limit shown on the speedometer, and a change in speed limit is also displayed. I wish I could advance this myself. Obviously we're supposed to not go faster than the speed limit, otherwise we get points deducted. That's the power level on the left, 1 to 5, or neutral. And then on the right hand side you will find the brakes. And there's a G meter as well on the bottom, because we want to make smooth stops for our passengers, right? We don't want to have them flying around. Yeah, and then there's emergency braking if you literally miss your stop. That's a bit of a problem, but it's not good for the passengers either, because they will be slamming their teeth into the floor. Top left is our scoring system, so we can get a multiplier going, which they call a chain. So chain together points. It's explaining that now. We do get points, for example, for a good stop, following speed limit changes, blasting the horn at various points where there's workers on track, for example, that kind of stuff. So yeah, we are supposed to score some points. Yeah, the passengers up there make a life bar, and if we mess up, then these lives get deducted, and if there's no passengers / lives left, we're out. Then we luckily also have a GPS going, so we have a distance meter showing up on the left hand side, which shows the next stop and the distance to it. And then obviously timing, right? So we've got a time that is now, and we've got a time that we are supposed to be arriving somewhere, hopefully. And then there's a bit of a system which also shows us the upcoming speed limits and signals ahead and stuff like that. In the top left you see what we've done right or wrong. Okay, and then you can see in the top left now there's a cab signal light that has to come up or come on. And if it's on, like now, we can actually depart. So release the brakes. And now we can apply some power. And that's it. So not overly complicated, I would say. Yeah. And then there's a 65 speed limit right now, so we're supposed to do 65 max here. We don't always have to go as fast as the speed limit, by the way. There's also stuff like timing checkpoints on the route. I think we will get to see one very soon. So she's very excited about us following the speed limit right now. Nice. And then that's it. Now we're driving. The black and white thingy means that the speed limit is lifted here. And up ahead is another 65 limit zone. Yeah. So we will not go over 65 there, and it's usually common practice to drive 5 under the limit. I'm supposed to keep going just like that. How exciting. It's so satisfying, man. If you get a stop like perfectly right, it's very good. But usually I don't. I suck at this game. I really suck at this game. Something else to note, we will be entering a downhill section right here. So obviously the speed will pick up a little bit automatically. Or not? I was lying, there was no downhill section seemingly, I misremembered. Speed limit increased to 75, so let's do 70. We're supposed to be stopping at Shinagawa in 800 meters. So by 600, maybe 500, I will let go of the throttle. Actually, there's a speed limit change here, so we should start braking. Oops. Nope. So this is how braking goes as well. And the stop is coming up. So we should be trying to be as precise as possible about our stop. Not only in terms of distance, there's a marker, like a sign we are supposed to stop at, we will see it soon. And obviously we also have to be precise with the time. So let's see. Let's start by putting it into brake notch 4. Decelerating this train. Maybe we loosen the brakes a little bit because it seemingly brakes very well. Yep. We are supposed to be stopping at that very small rectangle there, the sign, the diamond. Mm-hmm. Are we already sub 30? That's all? Thank you. This doesn't look too bad actually. Yeah. Now we want to stop as closely as possible to the sign. Oh, it was actually quite good. We were 2 seconds too late though, so I guess we're fine now. Cool. So yeah, that was the tutorial here. Like I said, it's not a majorly complex game, and I think this is about all that you have to do. The initial few timetable missions on this line are quite easy, but later it becomes a bit more tricky. That is kind of the gist of it. So yeah, we'll just jump right into this one. So each line, like we have these 4 lines. We have the Tokaido line, the Osaka loop line. Ha! Oh Jesus, so I was talking to myself for all of the tutorial, I guess, right? But then you will just have to make it up on the fly. It is not a complicated game, so you will be alright in just picking it up, I guess. But then you missed me probably also putting on these nice fancy driving gloves. Yeah, I hope you're alright. A car with hazard lights. Yeah, with how with how rural you live, it's probably good to check that out. But yeah, all fine, you just missed the tutorial, but essentially we drive train, we have to be precise with how we drive the train, and everything else you will just see while we do the game. The game is divided into 4 lines, I'm not sure if you caught that earlier, but we'll be doing the Yamanote line today, a little bit, and then, yeah, nice gloves as well. You did miss the intro where I talked about why I wear these gloves, right? So it is what it is. But essentially, Japanese train drivers use these white nylon gloves because they point at stuff, right? They point at signals, they point at the speed, they point at lights coming on, they point at whatever, time on the clock. You name it. And this is to intensify the signaling aspect of that or something. I won't do that though. Also no facecam because I only have one webcam on the monitor, and that is filming my hands right now. Anyway, let's give it a start, and then you can see how the game works, and then it's probably quite easy for you to understand. So I will walk you through the tutorial myself now without a tutorial, but essentially we are driving a train, right? Like each line is always, as you can see here, dissected into a few stops we have to make. Now we're just driving a part of the whole line, essentially. And well, what do we have to do? We have a hut on the left-hand side with speedometer. I think that is quite self-explanatory. The train has five power stages and 8 brake stages, plus emergency brakes, which we don't want to apply, because then passengers get unhappy. Before we drive off, we have to wait for the cab signal light to come on, which just signals us that the doors are closed and we are ready for departure. What else is there? We'll have to follow the speed limits, visible mostly on the right-hand side. And there's like a track monitor as well, where you can see upcoming speed changes and whatever. What else is there? Top right, you can also see that there's timing. So this is not a train simulator, I would say, but rather a train game, where it's mostly about driving as precise as possible. And for that we would get points. So for example, a speed limit we follow well will get some points. And you can see on the left there's a time checkpoint coming up, where we are just 1 second early, but if we meet the time there, we also get some points for that. And essentially we want to score well, because then we can buy more routes and trains and whatever. What else is there? I think that is pretty much it for now. Yeah. Top right also you can see that there's a few passenger icons. These are essentially a health bar. If we fuck up, for example we brake too hard or we reach the speed limit, we will get life points deducted from us. And once there's no life points left, we're out. But I think we're not going to get that far, because this game is relatively lenient. The original games were made for the arcades, so they were like proper arcade cabinets, and those were quite harsh in terms of timing and scoring and whatever. I tried the one on the PlayStation 1, and that is very tricky. This one is way more relaxed. But yeah, so our initial stop on this timetable is coming up, Shinagawa, so we should probably start braking now. Maybe start with the brakes at 3. It's quite a light train with not many people in it, so it brakes quite well. And now we will have to be as precise as possible with our stopping position. So you will see on the left-hand side that there's a sort of diamond-shaped sign coming up with some fancy colors on it, and we braked way too early. And essentially want to stop at 0 meters. And now I'm way too fast, because I'm talking at the same time. Yeah, so that wasn't too great. And now we get a nice replay rather, of how our stop looked like from the outside. And the scoring table there, which shows the points we got. Yep. And that is it. And then, seemingly something that was used in the past in Japan was that there were station melodies for every stop, which is quite nice. So wait for the cab signal light. Doors are closed, signal is on, so we can depart. Almost an order. So the speed limit will be raised soon. So now it's 65 still, but change to 90 right here. By the way, there are no or rarely signs with the speed limit on the track, because this line uses something called ATC, Automatic Train Control, I think it's called, which basically transmits the speed limit into the train, so you can see it from within the train. Yeah, and now there's a speed check coming up where we are supposed to do 85. Oops. And if we make it 0 kilometers delta, like now, we get the most points. And when you were also not there, I was talking about how... So this game originated in the 90s in Japan. It only ever was sold in Japan as well. And like I said initially, also it was made for the arcades only. And then they did some home releases on the PlayStation, and it kinda... yeah, led to this game. Essentially, it was supposed to be the farewell game for the series, because it's called Densha de Go Final. It was released to PlayStation 2 and PC in 2004, I think. But then later, in 2017, there was another arcade and a Switch game as well. Yeah. So next stop is coming up, Damachi, 400 meters to go. Let's not brake too early this time, but we are way too early in terms of timing. It's still 45 seconds to our stopping time. So I think we can take it rather slow on the approach here. Speed limit change 55. Yeah, and usually you don't want to jump around on the brakes like I do here. It's not a good technique. But the game doesn't really care about it. It's more the more simulator style games from Japan that care about that. We are still way too early in terms of time, so I will just coast a little bit here, waiting for the time to clock up. Yeah, that should be okay. Still a meter off the stopping position. Looks a bit embarrassing, like imagine standing at a station and you wait for the train to arrive, and the train does this. It essentially sneaks with, like, through the station at 2 kilometers an hour. By the way, we also get a rating here. You will see that there are stars now on the screen, right? There's also gold stars instead of silver stars if you make everything perfect. And there's like, yeah, just some circle icons if you didn't do all that well.
2番線ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。閉じ目10信号55田町停発。
So that is what it's all about. I'm not sure I don't think I can turn the camera here. And there's another train now blocking the view, but there was a Mitsubishi Motors logo on the left hand side. Nice. Oh, missed the speed limit here.
The next station is Hamamatsucho. The doors on the left side will open. Please change here for the Tokyo monorail Haneda line and the subway line.
Maybe I don't accelerate so harshly, so that we are not early at the station again. Speed check 70 kilometers coming up. Already we can just coast because we are still early. We'll take some speed out of the train already. I can tell you, like, it's getting way harder with the later levels. This is like the first level of them all, so I think they made it quite easy on purpose. Yeah, the station announcements are actually bilingual, like the real ones, which is nice to see. Not too bad. But still 3 seconds early, so we don't get the gold star. Instantly getting fired for that, but just 6 centimeters this time. Oh, we actually did get a gold star for Hamatsusho. Whatever. Next stop is Shimbashi. Yeah, so how did you recover from your cold then, Roy? Everything alright again, I hope? Because from the SRM streams, I did watch a little bit. You did sound kinda sick.
新橋お出口は左側です。地下鉄銀座線都営地下鉄浅草線ゆりかもめはお乗り換えです。The next station is 新橋 The doors on the left side will open. Please change here for the Ginza subway line, the Asakusa subway line, and the Yurikamome line.
Yeah, I think obscure is the right word. And I think that it does include these weird looking gloves. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you something there. Oh, almost so fast. Don't look at the chat. Lots of points here. But we're still way too early again. Yeah. Okay, now we're way too early again. We still got 10 seconds to go. How am I supposed to drag this out by 10 seconds? Ugh. Yeah, that wasn't great. It just says great, but you want excellent. It didn't quite work out. So on the equipment, Japanese railway uses very old-fashioned pocket watches for timekeeping, and when I actually bought this thing from Japan, I did get a Densha Go pocket watch with it as well. Which, like, this thing actually has a cutout for a pocket watch. Yeah, you don't need it for the game, but the batteries are also flat. Well, still, it's nice to have it. And this is also not a controller, actually. It's a Densha Go plug and play, so it's a bit funny, actually. The game that we are playing also lives on this console, because this is a proper game console, which you can just hook up to your television and just play it on the TV then. But luckily somebody in the community also made a mod where you can just connect it to a computer like I do right now and play on the PC with it. So obviously, I think this does 720p only. The PC I'm running the game at like 8K through multi-something. So, oh yeah, this is a Densha Go plug and play they are called. There's also a version of the plug and play, the successor of this one, with the Shinkansen game, so you can ride the high-speed Japanese train there. Okay, now I will already cross here, 700 meters, hopefully we're not too early again. It's still 45 seconds, so maybe we start decelerating now. Maybe now we make it with the second brake notch to the stop marker, but we're already too slow. I think I have to release the brakes and then we'll have to start braking again. And now again brake 3. Let's see. That wasn't too great. Or at least not too excellent. In Japan it probably is. And hello, that's a lengthy username. Lima M Flight Simulator 6843. Yeah, nice to see you join for a little bit. Some very weird, obscure game, but hope you enjoyed.
2番線ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。
And then there's actually a proper braking technique when it comes to the railway in Japan, and they call it a 2-step 3-release braking style, from what I understand. I've tried practicing it, but it's quite tricky. So you only increase the brake 2 times, so you go to notch 1 and then, for example, to notch 4, and then you release it 3 times. And in some railway corporations, seemingly this is actually being checked for the training rides.
左側です。新幹線、中央線、東海道線。
We try going 10 under the limit now in an effort to not be way too early. Oh, the next stop is also Tokyo.
地下鉄丸の内線はお乗り換えです。The next station is Tokyo. The doors on the left side will open. Please change here for the 新幹線、the 中央 line, the 東海道 line, the 横須賀 line,
Let's see.
the 東武 line,
Let's break with notch 3 here
京
first.
葉 line, and 丸の内 subway line. まもなく東京に到着です。お降りのお客様はお忘
But
れ
yeah,
物がないようお手回りをお確かめ
the
くだ
amount
さ
of
い。
passengers in the train also influences how good it can brake, and it's actually quite extreme. You will probably see it before we depart for the next stop. It says load in a percentage, which seemingly describes how full the train is. Still too far away. I'm not doing particularly well at this game, to be honest. But yeah, now the question is like, why do I like this compared to the, or like, why did I start playing this and why do I enjoy it so much? I bought some stuff from Japan. Like, not just this game, but all the Japanese train games and sims I've played now. It's just nice being properly measured on every stop, essentially, where you can ever improve, right? You are never perfect. You can always try to meet a very concrete target, like when stopping, and I found that quite enjoyable to be granted points through it. So, quite enjoyable.
閉じ目10信号65東京停発制限解除
But I think like the talking hands do have a bit of a museum vibe. I think you're right, right?
この電車は山手線内回り上野池袋方面行きです。次は神田お出口は左側です。
Speed check 70 coming up.
地下鉄銀座線はお乗り換えです。This is the Yamanote line train bound for Ueno and Ikebukuro. The next station is Kanda. The doors on the left side will open.
Fantastic, excellent,
Please
whatever.
change here for the Chuo line and the Ginza subway
Next stop
line.
Kanda in 600 meters. Almost Italian. Okay, let's see. I would say we start braking at the right around here. So I can see our stop sign coming up. I think we're a bit fast, honestly. So maybe increase the brake a little bit. Yeah, both wasn't great. Too early by 4 seconds and 63 centimeters too late of a stop. Literally uncommutable. There's 3 stops to go on this segment of the line.
次は
And to not be too early again. This time again. 10 under the bridge.
左側です。総武線各駅停車。地下鉄日比谷線は
I think we can cross already.
The
It's
next
not a
station
fast stop.
is Akihabara. The doors on the left side will open. Please change here for the Sobu Line local service and the Hibiya subway line.
I'll start braking a little bit here. That was way too early, I think. Now it feels like I'm going too slow, but probably I will arrive too fast again soon. Nah.
Akihabara 停車到着
Well, 63. I think we had something similar already. It is, Roy, it is. And it's really enjoyable as well. I mean, we can get one sub 50 centimeter stop left on the two stops. So it's Okachimachi and then Ueno, and then it's done for this timetable.
You
know what it reminds me of? Did you ever do curling? Like ice curling? It kind of feels like that actually.
次は御徒町。御徒町お出口は左側です。都営地下鉄大江戸線はお乗り換えです。The next station is 御徒町。The doors on the
Switching
left
70
side
again?
will open. Please change here for the 大江戸subway line.
And speed limit 65 coming up. Speed limit 65 now. I think we can start braking in the third notch. So maybe now we make it work, sub 50 centimeters and maybe on time? I'm quite sure in Germany nobody will complain if the train is coming too early. Ooh, yeah, that was a nice one. 3 centimeters. Was a lot of points there. Though we were quite sneaky about this stop as well. We came in quite slow, so it was easy and there was no time pressure. The later game is much more hard on this, from what I understand. Look at that gold star at Okachimachi. Fantastic. Yeah, there is. Depending on who you ask, I guess. It's a matter of perspective. Oh, don't ask you how you know. Actually, the makers of this game, they also created a few spin-offs of the Densha de Go series. So Densha de Go means, translated, let's go by train. And the Densha is the train. Let me just stop here on time.
The doors on the left side will open. Please change
So they also made a few spin-offs, and actually I had a PlayStation 1 as a child, which is where I played all the Gran Turismo titles with my father as well. But as a child I remember buying some obscure game with excavators in them. And it was a Japanese game. I think even myself as a child I could tell as much. Oh, our sign is hidden behind the post there. All the country step. Ah. Ah. But we are way too early.
上野停車定着
So, seemingly that weird excavator game that always felt a bit foreign to me, actually was Power Shovel de Go. Power Diggers, I think, was the title in German or something. Well, in English, because it was an English game. I was 7 years old and had to make do with English. Bit tricky if you don't have that at school yet. But yeah, so we've completed the route. Now I think we get some credits, because that seemingly is a thing in Japan, where after every level you get the credits to the game. With some weird trance soundtrack. It's quite flashy, the soundtrack, to be honest. And it scrolls through your stations at the bottom and tells you how much points you got. Yeah, and now we'll get some money for this. So you can see here we got a 109,300 something credits. And from this we can theoretically buy more timetables and stuff. Yeah. So we will just do the second one again. And I'll just keep on driving, and I hope you got something better to do as well by the side, so you don't have to pay full attention to this shit. Because I imagine from watching it is actually not the most exciting thing. So yeah, we'll go from Ueno, where we just stopped as well, to Shinjuku. Like the second third of the line, of the loop. Yeah, I can see that happening. But you don't have to pay full attention, I'll just keep on playing and call out anything that seems special. So not the best kind of streamer when it comes to generating excitement, I think. Like probably other people would shout into the microphone the second they get a 3 centimeter stop like I just did. But yeah, I don't work like that. Good, I feel a little bit less bad about this. Forcing you to watch this, I guess. But yeah, I think you missed my question, but I wanted to ask you, like, if you're back up and running again, so if you're healthy again. Because from the SIM stream that I did watch a little bit of earlier in the week, you did sound quite ill, actually. I'm way too early again. Yeah, that's what she said. No, that's what he said to her. Jesus Christ, that was bad.
2番線ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。
閉じ目1000信号65ウグイス谷停発信号75
次は日暮里
You can try accelerating a bit slower so I don't arrive that much early.
The next station is Nippori. The doors on the left side will open.
At least for these initial levels, that seems to be how to go about it. You can already brake here for the 65 as well. Ah, the stop's already there. Never mind then. But yep, ever since discovering this game, so I started playing it because I wanted to drive a train game when Mika was here on the weekend, so I couldn't access my main computer. And in the living room I only have a very old laptop which doesn't run anything, like it doesn't have a graphics card, but just the integrated one. And I am not sure how, but I then discovered this game. That wasn't bad. The stop position still was a bit mid. But this ran on my laptop. I managed to get this up and running. And I've been diving into Japanese railway games for some reason then, and entered the rabbit hole like 6 weeks ago or something. And tried quite a few games in the meantime. There's also some... I think I did tell you about this simulator actually a few years ago, or at least about a game with the same concept, but there's the JR East train simulator on Steam, which essentially uses a recorded movie, and you literally drive through recorded film, and the physics of it are quite well though. I mean, the physics what feels like accelerating, braking the train, whatever. But essentially you control the playback speed of the recording, and obviously you got real-life graphics there, which is a bit crazy.
The next station is Nishi Nippori.
Wednesday was Wednesday. Oh, you still got fever? Then must have been quite some time for you now, being sick, right? It's good to hear that you're getting better though. Like, there's something... like, you can have a cold, but that does sound a bit more like a virus or something that you got there, and that's quite nasty. That said, fever is like a good thing for the body, obviously, where it can fight against the infection. So there's something useful to it, but it just really doesn't feel nice. I might have to stream the recorded one as well sometime. It's just also very enjoyable to drive. But there's no scoring involved, so it's a bit, like, yeah, maybe a bit more boring to watch. Now I'm late, actually. I don't stop the complete stop. 175 and like 7 seconds late. I think I just lost my job with the JR East Railway Company. Oh, so it's been a week. Yeah, I remember you saying that you got Monday off, so you want to do the SIM then or something. I guess you pulled through, but at what cost, yeah. It's crazy how good your pace was at the SIM despite being sick, to be honest.
The next station is Tabata. The doors on the left side will open. Please change here for the Keihin Tohoku line.
Shingo 55
That was way too early again, and now I feel like I'm too slow, so I will be running late into the stop. Ugh. Good counter there. Cool. That was a good one. Except me jumping up and down the brake so much, which I really would like to not do. Like imagine you come into the station, you put it into brake 4, and then you literally let it run to the stop, and then you only release it to 1 to make it a smooth stop. It must feel so good to get that right. We did get the golds now for Tabata. Can you, in Norway, so imagine you take a day of leave for that Monday, right? And now you fall sick. Can you get back the day of leave for the day where you are sick? So can you go to the doctor and then get some paperwork? You can get to your employer, so you can then get the day off back essentially to your account.
The next station is Komagome. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for the Namboku subway line. There are priority seats reserved for elderly and handicapped passengers, expecting mothers, and passengers accompanying small children.
Okay, then it's the same as in Germany. That's quite a useful thing. I hope you did that then. Oh, so it wasn't a leave day. Ugh. Okay. Seemingly sub 50 centimeters is not enough for a good stop position, or for like a best rating stop position. So I guess it wasn't worth it running late for this.
The next station is Sugamo. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for
Speed check 60. I again started braking way too early.
巣鴨
Oh,
停車定
2
着
meters and 60.
2番線ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。
閉じ目1000信号65巣鴨停発
次は大塚お出口は右側です。都電荒川線がお乗り換えです。The next station is 大塚 The doors on the right side will open.
Yeah, or like a...
都電荒川 line.
not sure what you call it in English. A mobile it is in German, like a
信号75
thing you hang above your baby's bed, which plays goodnight music to it, so it calms down. I mean, I can get behind that, honestly. Haven't really been sleeping all the way lately. There's a lot of pressure at work, which keeps me up at night. So, I could use a lullaby.
信号65
But so, on the station melodies as well, they are actually properly composed by componists, like, and the railway in Japan, from all I can tell, is actually quite well liked. Where oh shit, why did I break so late? Oh.
大塚停車定着
I think we braked a bit too heavy, so we didn't get the bonus points for the G meter. Because it was in the red. But yeah, people in Japan seem to like the railway. Obviously, I was on Discord with railway enthusiasts, so that might falsify the picture a little bit. But you can, for example, get these station melodies actually as like small little devices, like keychain kind of things.
1番線ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。
閉じ目1000信号65大塚停発信号75
次は池袋お出口は左側です。埼京線宇都宮線高崎線直通列車東武東上線西武池袋
Time check coming up, and we're 4 seconds early already, despite going 500 limits, so
地下鉄有
I'll
楽
just not
町線は
accelerate.
お乗り換えです。The next station is 池袋 The doors on the left side will open. Please change here for the Taikyo line, the 宇都宮 line.
It does seem like we still have to brake to actually lose some time. Speed limit lifted, or speed limit 75 rather.
And the 有楽町 subway line.
ご乗車ありがとうございました。まもなく
How slow am I supposed to
お降
go?
りのお客様はお忘れ物がないようお
Yeah,
手
fuck
回
that.
りをお確かめください。
At least this way I can get the stop right.
信号65
Speed limit change 55 coming up. I think I did tell you about it when I described why I wear the gloves, but in Japan it is actually, there's a system in place where the
55
personnel of trains, but also other branches, public transport for example, they call out everything. They call out a speed signal, a speed limit change, they call out a signal change, they literally point and shout at everything. So they would, for example, also point and say that the light for departure has come on. And from what Wikipedia says, it actually reduces doing errors in mundane things, like for example driving trains, by like 90-something% or so. I forgot what the Japanese term is for it. I found it quite funny, and actually a very close work colleague of mine, the guy that was also on the Cougar, and me, we've started doing this at work, literally pointing at stuff we want to do virtually and saying this is what I want to do, just because this minimizes our chance of messing things up.
All good.
池袋です。ご乗車ありがとうございます。
6番線、ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。
So they would now show, look at the light there, that was on there, and call out that it has turned on. Say if the departure is on time or not, and only then start driving. And actually the game does this, so the male voice you hear is actually the train driver calling stuff out. And the really deep running Japanese train game enjoyers, I'm not sure how else to put it, they actually do this themselves, so they point at the monitor and call out stuff. But my Japanese is not at that level of proficiency where I can just easily say things in Japanese, so I'd rather not do that right now. Speed check 70 coming up. For example, a departure signal that is green, I think they call it out with Shepatchinko, and we'll probably hear the male voice do that as well when we depart from the next stop.
Meijiro, 停車、定着。
目白です。ご乗車ありがとうございます。
Try pronouncing the next stop 3 times in a row.
1番線、
Takada no Baba?
ドアが閉まります。
Takada no Baba?
ご注意ください。
So now he should say Shepatchinko.
閉じ目10。
He doesn't. He said the door.
75、
Ah.
目白、停発。
So the thing he initially said, I think, doors are closed. And then he said that we drive on. But there's no signal here because we use this ATC system on this line. There's like no green or red lights, so he didn't call any of those out, obviously.
高田の馬場、高田の馬場、お出口は
Takada no Baba.
右
Ah,
側
yeah.
です。西武新宿線、地下鉄東西線はお乗り換えです。The next station is 高田の馬場。The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for the 西武新宿 line and the 東西 subway line.
You can tell the train is getting fuller and fuller because the brakes are not working as well as they used to. They are really not working as well as they used to.
Takada no Baba, Teisha, Teichaku.
高田の馬場、高田の馬場です。ご乗車ありがとうございます。
2番線ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。
閉じ目1000、信号75、高田の馬場、停発。
We also got an outside view,
新大
like a
久保
cinematic camera,
新大久保お出口は右側です。
so I can enjoy this Series 231 train
付近では携帯電話の電源をお切り
from
く
the
ださい。
outside.
それ以外の場所ではマナーモードに設定の上、通話はお控えください。
Which is obviously not a thing on the video recorded
ご協力をお願いい
game.
たします。The next station is the Shin-Okubo. The doors on the right side will open. Please switch off your mobile phone when you are near the priority seat. In other areas, please set it to silent mode.
Oh, I just was 1 kilometer an hour there, so I didn't get the excellent rating for the speed check. Yeah, means it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so potentially people are just finishing their workday. I probably have to break now as well. See here, I'm at brake notch 5 and it doesn't really want to stop. Still way too early though, so acceleration is not a problem as of yet.
Shin Okubo, Teisha, Teichaku.
This might have been the final stop of this timetable. Not quite. Ah yeah, it was Shinjuku. Shinjuku. I was so confused by this sound, by the way, in the beginning, but it seems to be a departure signal. It's not a telephone.
2番線ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。
閉じ目10、信号75、新大久保、停発。信号65。
次は新宿。新宿お出口は左側です。中央線、埼京線、小田急線、京王線、地下鉄丸の内線、都営地下鉄新宿線、都営地下鉄大江戸線はお乗り換えです。The next station is Shinjuku. The doors on the left side will open. Please change here for the Chuo line, the Taikyo line, the Odakyu line, the Keiō line, the Marunouchi subway line, the Shinjuku subway line, and the Oedo subway line.
The station is quite packed. I'm not sure if that is actually showing us that there will be a lot of passengers getting on the train. Or not. Given that it's a Japanese game, it probably is reflective of how many people get on. Hmm.
新宿停車定着
新宿です。ご乗車ありがとうございます。
We'll get the
新宿
route completed
新
thing
宿
going
で
on, I think.
ご乗車ありがとうございます。お忘れ物のないようご注意ください。
So time to collect some cash, and then we will do one more timetable before I think it's actually been enough then. But yeah, I want to do the whole full loop, so the initial 3 runs on the line, and then we'll have the Yamanote line once completed at least. I felt like it was not as good of a run as the first one was. We did get more money though, but that might just be by, I don't know. So we can do the third, which is from Shinjuku to Osaki. And seemingly the last run in this timetable is the full line ones, which would then take as long as the stream already did, so I'm not doing that today. It's just 8 stops to go.
.閉じ目1000信号65新宿停発
この電車は山手線内回り渋谷品川方面行きです。次は代々木お出口は左側です。都営地下鉄大江戸線はお乗り換えです。This is Yamanote Line train bound for Shibuya and Shinagawa. The next station is Yoyogi. The doors on the left side will open.
制限解
Please
除
change here for the Oedo subway line.
So let's see. Let's make this worthwhile. Good start, I would say. That should be a gold star.
.1000信号65代々木停発
次は原宿お出口は右側です。地下鉄千代田線はお乗り換えです。The next station is Harajuku. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here.
I wanted to check how the load is now on the train for the last 3 stops, and I always forgot.
信号75
Speed check 70 coming up. You can make it another one like the one before. Yeah, not
原
quite.
宿停車到着
原宿です。ご乗車ありがとうございます。
Next stop is Shibuya, and while I am not very familiar with the Tokyo area, Shibuya is a name obviously I know. And the Shibuya crossing, I think they filmed the Fast and Furious there, right? Tokyo Drift. The one scene where they couldn't get a permission to film there, so they kinda still did it or
閉じ
something.
め10
It's
信号75
quite the story
原
actually.
宿停発
次は渋谷お出口は右側です。東急東横線、東急田園都市線、京王井の頭線、地下鉄銀座線、地下鉄半蔵門線はお乗り換えです。電車とホームの間が空いているところがありますので、足元にご注意ください。The next station is Shibuya. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for the Tokyu Toyoko line, the Tokyu Denyen-toshi line, the Keio Inokashira line, the Ginza subway line, and the Hanzomon subway line. Please watch your step when you leave the train.
ありがとうございました。まもなく渋谷に到着です。お降りのお客様はお忘れ物がないようお手回りをお確かめください。お出口は右側です。
Like 10 seconds too early still.
渋谷停車到着
渋谷です。ご乗車ありがとうございます。2番線ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。
And I will actually check the load factor.
閉じめ10信号65渋谷停発
90%, so I think the train is quite full.
信号75
この電車は山手線内回り品川東京方面行きです。次は恵比寿お出口は右側です。地下鉄日比谷線はお乗り換えです。This is a Yamanote line train bound for Shinagawa and Tokyo. The next station is Ebisu. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for the Hibiya subway line.
ありがとうございます。まもなく恵比寿に到着です。
停車定着
Oh no, the train is 7 seconds too early. The catastrophe.
2番線ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。
閉じ目10信号75恵比寿停発
次は目黒出口は右側です。東急目黒線、地下鉄南北線、都営地下鉄三田線はお乗り換えです。The next station is Meguro. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for the Tokyo Meguro line, the Namboku subway line, and the Mita subway line.
Oh, there's some station workers, so now we can finally blow the horn. Not station workers, I mean track workers.
Meguro 停車定着
ご乗車ありがとうございます。
35? Not so bad. Still not enough for good rating?
1番線品川東京方
1番線ドアが閉まります。ご注意ください。
1番線品川東京方面発車いたします。
閉じ目10信号65目黒停発信号75
次は五反田お出口は右側です。東急池間線、都営地下鉄浅草線はお乗り換えです。The next station is 五反田. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for the 東急池間line and the 浅草 subway line.
五反田停車定着。
ご乗車ありがとうございます。五反田です。
Yeah, no worries, Roy. I mean, there's not much to talk about here anyway. But it's now the final stop we'll have to do. So we go from Gotanda to Osaki, and Osaki is also where we started. And that will make the loop complete. So no worries. I know you are not the kind of guy to just disappear from a chat without telling me, actually.
1番線品川東京方面
Unless there's a car with the hazards on. Outside, obviously.
閉じ目10信号65五反田停発。
So seemingly 35 centimeters or something is not enough for a excellent stop,
次
so...
は大崎お出口は右側です。東京臨海高速鉄道臨海線は乗り換えです。
Speed check 60.
The doors on the right side will open. Please take care for the 東京臨海高速鉄道臨海 line.
And up ahead is the station where we departed some 1 hour ago, I think. And that's not well enough either. Oh well. I think we got the silver star for every station. At least. So it wasn't shabby, it just wasn't excellent. And we want to strive for excellence here. Get some cash, and then we'll end the stream. So that was 61,000 only, but we've also only stopped at 7 stations instead of 12. So that kind of makes sense. Yeah, that was it. That was Densha to Go final. Thank you, Roy, my very loyal heart, for joining in one of the very obscure games again. Yeah, given that I didn't really feel like racing that much recently, maybe there's a bit more of this kind of stuff coming on the channel, because I do feel like I do want to stream again. But yeah, racing is really not what I'm doing or enjoying right now. Not even sure why, but work is very intense, and then I like this kind of experience a little bit more after work. Not have something very intense. I've also done a lot of trucking recently, so maybe I will do some trucking stream. Maybe I will also not stream again for like 5 months, I don't know. But yeah, thank you very much for joining. It was very enjoyable for me. I hope you were at least slightly entertained, and if not, you've seen something you haven't seen before. Then I will end it right there. Thank you, Roy, and I wish you a good night.